All right, welcome biology. All right, so the purpose of this video is to give you guys some exposure to some questions that are going to be very similar to the questions that are on the test. Also to produce a video that you can use to practice with your study guide, practice with your notes as you are preparing for the test. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do one column at a time, so you can focus on the chapter 3 stuff, 3-1, et cetera, et cetera. Let me make sure we're good. Yeah. Do understand that in column 4, biodiversity, that's section 6-3. Okay. So as you can see, the test is pretty heavy on chapter 3. It does have about 10 questions on chapter 4, about 5 or 6 on 6-3. And then it's got about another 10 or 12 from the class notes that we've done the last 2 times. All right, without further ado, here we go. All right, blank is the branch of biology dealing with interactions among organisms and between organisms and their environment. And what I want you guys to do is try to look these up. I am going to try to find questions on your study guide to help point you in the right direction. And then once you know what the answer is, or you think you know what the answer is, put your hand up. And when most of you have your hand up, I can show you guys the answer, and I'll ask for volunteers to oh, this is number 1 on your study guide. I'll ask for volunteers to say the answer when we're ready. Okay, printer, are you going to turn off because you're making a lot of noise? My goodness. All right. All right, let's see. Lucas, go ahead. What's the answer? And if you guys don't, just let me know in a chat if your microphone's not working. Otherwise, it's not going to work out. All right, let's see. I'm going to assume that maybe Lucas's microphone isn't working. Go ahead, Avery. Tell me, what do you think?
Ecology.
You got it. Nice. Okay, correct answer is ecology. All right, kids, hands down. Just depending on how much you've prepared for the test, this might be kind of fun. Maybe on a separate piece of paper, on a scratch paper, keep track of the number of questions that you get right. Because if I'm not mistaken, there's about 50 questions, maybe closer to 45 questions in the game. It's basically however many points are on the game board. Keep track of how many you get right. And if you're anything over 40, you probably don't need to study a whole lot more. Let me go check that chat real quick. Bam, bam, bam. All right, cool. Good idea, Lucas. All right, here we go. Groups of different populations that live together in an area are a blank. What are the 3 parts of the biosphere? 3 parts of the biosphere. So, let's see. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the first question is one of your vocab words. And number 28 for the second question. And again, hand up when you know both of the answers, or you think you know both the answers. Also, if you have unfinished questions on your study guide, and I tell you, oh, second question is number 28, obviously when I show you the answer, try to write it down. I can't guarantee that I'm going to give you that much time, but this is an opportunity to work on your study guide at the same time. All right, just one person knows the answers, or you guys just don't want to put your hands up? You don't have to put your hands up. All right, Allah, do you want to tell me what you think the answers are? All right, let me turn my volume up a little bit. I'm having a hard time hearing you, but that's okay. All right, here we go. So yeah, definitely those are communities. Lithosphere, that's the Earth's crust. Hydrosphere, that's all the water on the planet. And then the atmosphere. Okay. So again, if you did not have either one of these communities is number 11 on your study guide. And then the second question, again, was number 28. All right. All righty, here we go. Sunlight is the original source of most of the blank on planet Earth. For a food supply, ecosystems depend on blanks. If a third level consumer had 1,000 calories of energy, how many calories would a fourth level consumer get when eating the third? So you're going to have to know the rule of 10. So we got 3 questions up there. If you think you know the answers to at least 2, put your hand up. Number 29 on your study guide. Uh, 27 on your study guide. I'm not sure where the other one is. All right. We got 2/3 of you that know most of the answers. Don't feel weird if you're not raising your hand because you're likely choosing just simply not to raise your hand. It doesn't necessarily mean you don't know the answers. Don't get all weirded out about that. All right, here we go. Let's see. Samarin, did you want to tell me what you think the answers are?
Yeah, sure. For the first one, it's energy.
Okay.
For the third one, it's 100.
You got it. 10%. Good.
And I'm not sure about
Does anybody know what
the.
this? Does anybody want to help him out and tell me what they think the second one is? The base of all food chains. Where does it all start? A la Lucas, if you want to do it, go for it. All right, I'll just give you guys the answer. Go ahead, Allah. Yes, it is. Okay. Producers, autotrophs would be the same, but I'm pretty sure you're going to see producers on the test. Yeah, so energy, it's the source of all energy. It basically powers the producers to produce glucose. And yeah, the easiest way to remember how many calories are available is you just chop off a 0 for each trophic level you go up. So if you start at 1,000 with the producers, primary consumers are 100, secondary consumers are 10, tertiary consumers are 1. Okay, so you just chop off a 0 every step up you go. All right, and remember, 90% of that energy approximately is lost as heat, metabolic heat. Our body temperature goes right up into the atmosphere. All right, here we go. All right. What's it called when water falls from the sky to the surface? So this is actually from section 3-3. True or false? Species preservation is a threat to biodiversity. The average year after year conditions of temperature and precipitation in a region is called what? And am I missing something or just. And the levels from smallest to largest parts of the biosphere are what? So let's see. Bum, 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 bum. So first one's definitely a water cycle question. And it's one of your definitions. Second one, the true false is Not sure exactly where that is on your study guide. Third one is also a vocabulary word. And the last question is number 26 on your study guide. So again, hand up when you think you know at least 3 of them. Be with you guys in 1 second. I'm finishing my attendance. All right. All right. If you would like to answer the first question, leave your hand up. Everybody else, hands down. If you'd like to answer the first question, leave your hand up and I'll let you answer it. That way we won't have people talking over one another. All right. Samarin, go ahead.
Precipitation.
Indeed. Precipitation includes rain, snow, hail, fog, grauple, if you remember from the movie. Let's see. Hand up if you want to answer the second one. True or false? Species preservation is a threat to biodiversity. Avery, give it a shot.
It's false.
It is. Yes. Species preservation is a good thing that maintains biodiversity. So that's a trick question. Let's see. Allah, go ahead if you want to answer the third one. You got it? All right, last one, levels from smallest to largest. Go ahead, Samarin.
Individual, population, community, ecosystem, biome, biosphere.
All right, here we go. Precipitation, false. Climate. So species, yeah, individual. Population, community, ecosystem, biosphere, biome, biosphere. So yeah, make sure that you have species because basically individuals make up a species. But I think you're just going to have to recognize in a multiple choice question what the correct order is. So you guys should be good. All right. Okay, on to section 3-2, feeding relationships. Let's see. Move this over here. Restart this. Okay, what is that diagram called? Hand up if you think you know it. It's number 25 on your study guide. All right. Of course, we know that that is a food web, and a food web is made up of a whole bunch of individual food chains. Okay, nice job, kids. All right. The part of the diagram, grass to grasshopper to shrew to snake, is called a what? How many herbivores are shown in the below diagram? Pull that out again. I'll pull it over here. How many herbivores are in that diagram? So obviously you're going to have to know what an herbivore is to answer this question. All right, so hand up if you think you know both of them. All right, let's see. First one, grass, grasshopper, shrew, snake. What's that called? Lucas, did you get your microphone issue solved?
I think so.
You did. What do you think
Okay.
the first answer is?
Food chain.
Nicely done. Okay, Avery, how many herbivores are in that diagram?
I think it's 4.
I think you're right, because it's going to be this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. Okay, so anything that has an arrow from a producer to it would be an herbivore. Okay, now we wouldn't necessarily know that a rabbit is definitely an herbivore, because, you know, a rabbit might eat an insect if it had an opportunity to do so. But based on this diagram, the rabbit would be considered an herbivore. Okay, and let's see what we got. Food chain, and oh my gosh, thought I had this all worked out. And 4 is correct. All right. Okay, here we go. What are the 3 tertiary consumers? What just happened? I don't know what just happened. Hold on a minute. Pull this over here so you guys can see it. The 3 tertiary consumers. Energy is lost when the hawk eats the shrew. This energy is lost as what? And other than the atmosphere, what are 2 carbon sinks on Earth? Carbon sink, carbon reservoir are the same thing. So we got 3 questions up there. If you think you know the answer to at least 2 of them, raise your hand. Oops, dear mouse. All right, a couple more seconds. So remember, a tertiary consumer is a consumer that eats a secondary consumer. So you have to count the number of members in the food chains to figure that out. You can pretty much assume they're going to be apex predators that are going to be the near the top, but you should count just to make sure. All right, let's see. Allah, could you tell me what the answer to the second question is? How is energy lost? What form of energy? One more time? Yeah, body heat. Good. Metabolic heat. Samarin, how many tertiary consumers do you think there are?
I think I see the hawk, a mountain lion, and is it snake?
I think it is. So if you went this way, the hawk would only be a secondary consumer, but 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the hawk is definitely a tertiary consumer through this food chain. All right, snake, 1, 2, 3. Snake is a 3rd level consumer as well. And then mountain lion, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so it's the mountain lion, the snake, and then the hawk. Does anybody know the answer to the 3rd one? The 2 carbon reservoirs, carbon sinks? Unmute yourself if you do. All right, go ahead, Allah. Let's see. I think you're definitely right on the oceans. I forget what the second one is. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, kinda, but fossil fuels. Okay, fossil fuels is the big one. So snake, hawk, mountain lion, heat, fossil fuels found underground, and oceans are the big ones. Forests are one, but the main ones are fossil fuels underground and oceans. All right, moving on. All right, zebra mussels, nutria, and leafy spurge are all what? What is the chemical formula for photosynthesis? True or false? Hunting endangered species affects the carbon cycle. Deforestation, habitat fragmentation, and pollution are all human activities that threaten what? This link is off, I think. I don't think we're supposed to be in Earth, life, good and bad. Interesting. One of my links might be broke. Okay, attendance is finished. Dude's confused. Okay, let's see. Avery, zebra mussels, nutria, and leafy spurge. What are those things called?
Invasive species.
Nicely done. Let's see. Don't worry about the numbers, but what are the reactants? The things on the left side of the reaction, Lucas, for photosynthesis. Do you have that one, Lucas?
Sorry, I had the raise hand thing over my unmute button.
No big deal.
It's
So what does photosynthesis take out of the atmosphere? What two things?
CO2 and water.
Yep, water vapor. Good. All right. And then Allah, what comes out of photosynthesis? What are the products of photosynthesis? Nicely done. Perfect. And then the photons in sunlight energy are actually what make the reaction take place. Okay, true or false? Hunting endangered species affects the carbon cycle. Put your hand up if you think the answer is true. That hunting endangered species affects the carbon cycle. All right, here we go. That's actually false. Yeah, those are living things and there are carbon stored in them. But remember, things that affect the carbon cycle are like rates of photosynthesis, rates of cellular respiration, burning fossil fuels, decomposition. So that would be false, okay? Deforestation, habitat fragmentation, pollution are all human activities that threaten ecosystems, that threatens biodiversity. Remember, ecosystems and biodiversity are really closely related. All right, we got to get moving. We're running out of time. Yeah, that's really weird. This link went to the wrong one. Huh. I wonder what's behind that link. We'll see. Anyway, moving on. Matter and nutrients can cycle through the biosphere because matter isn't used up. It's what? What word would go in that blank to make that a correct statement? All righty. Let's see. Allah, what do you think it is?
Recycle.
Yeah, recycle, change, transformed, all of those would be correct. All right, nice. True or false? Matter can increase or decrease over time in ecosystems. In the carbon cycle, where would the arrow point from plants during respiration? in the carbon cycle, where would the arrow point from plants during respiration? So it would go from plants to what? And you should have your carbon cycle diagram available. All right, hand up if you think you know one or both of them. All righty. Here we go, kids. So it's false. Matter cannot be created or destroyed. It's called the law. It's a natural law of conservation of matter. It can be changed. It can be, broken apart. I mean, well, atoms can't be broken apart, but I mean, molecules and compounds can be broken apart and then reassembled, but you're not increasing or decreasing mass. Okay, so that's false. And remember, plant and animal respiration, we are exhaling carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide is going up into the atmosphere. Even organisms that live in the soil, when they are respiring, they're letting carbon dioxide go, and eventually that gas is going to get to the top of the soil layer, and then it's going to get to the atmosphere. Okay? All right. Bacteria, legumes, and decomposers all play a role in which biogeochemical cycle? A blank is the full range of physical and biological conditions in which an organism lives. That should sound kind of familiar. Blank factors are the biological influences on organisms within an ecosystem. So 3 questions. Hand up if you think you know at least 2. All right. Let's see. Lucas, which cycle do those play a role in?
The nitrogen cycle.
Nicely done. Avery, what's that definition of?
I'm gonna butcher how you say it, but a niche.
It's just niche.
Oh,
The
okay.
E is silent. Let's see. And Allah, what is the answer to the third one? You got it. You guys are going to kill this test. Nitrogen cycle, niche, and biotic factors. Remember things like water, wind, soil, rock, temperature, sunlight. Those are abiotic factors, non-living factors. Let's see where this link goes. Okay, this one works. Okay. What are the 4 ways carbon cycles on planet Earth? What are 2 ways excess energy from the equator is moved towards the poles? Food pollution in space to live are all factors that affect the blank blank of organisms other than humans. All right, so 4 questions up there. If you think you know 3 of them, raise your hand. And for the first one, that might be a little bit confusing to you. It's like I'll give you an example of one. From the lithosphere, fossil fuels like coal to the atmosphere. So the different spheres on planet Earth, which ones does it go from and to? And honestly, I can't remember what the answer to the third one is. I think I know what it is. All right. All right, Avery, which one do you want to answer?
The first one.
Go for it.
Biological processes, geochemical processes, biogeochemical processes, and human activities.
Okay, I think you're right. Let's see. We'll check it in a second. Allah, which one do you want to answer?
The third one.
Okay, what do you think it is?
Carrying capacity.
I think you're right. All right, and Smarin, do you know the two ways that energy gets moved on the planet?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Winds and ocean currents.
Nicely done. All right, let's check them out. Okay, so Avery, you were kind of on the you were at a more general answer. So photosynthesis, burning fossil fuels, plant and animal decomposition, ocean and wind currents are the ways that the energy gets moved, and yes, carrying capacity. Okay, so again, this one may be just a little bit off, but just go watch the video later and then make sure that you have these examples on your study guide. All right, let's see, moving along. Incoming solar radiation has a blank wavelength, but after getting absorbed on Earth, it changes to a blank wavelength. So how does it come in? How does it go out? And again, your greenhouse effect diagram is going to be your best resource for this. Hand up if you know what goes in the two blanks. And this is on the third page of the study guide. Number 39. Okay, let's see. Avery, incoming solar radiation has which type of wavelength?
Short.
Shortwave. Good, good. And it makes it easier for it to get through. Let's see. Smarin, what does it change to after it gets absorbed on the planet?
Long wavelength.
Yeah, and the reason why that's important is because long wavelength is more easily absorbed by greenhouse gases. So if that shortwave radiation gets to the surface and it radiates out as long and there's more greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, logic would suggest that it's going to get warmer on the planet. Okay. All right. Just comes in as short, leaves as long. Well, it leaves the surface as long. All right, here we go. Short-term day-to-day conditions in Earth's atmosphere is called what? And the place that organisms live are their what? What's the term for a place organism lives? And both of these are definitions on your study guide. All right. Allah, what's the answer to the first one?
Weather.
You got it. Let's see. Place organisms live. Avery, what do you think?
Habitat.
You got it. All right. So for those of you that just arrived, we're a little bit over halfway through the slides. If you are interested in answering a question verbally, just simply raise your hand. you haven't missed it all because I'm making a video. I'm recording a video, and I'm going to put this video out in the Google Classroom later on this afternoon so you can watch the part that you missed. You're going to want to have your study guide. You're going to want to have your drawings, carbon cycle, greenhouse effect. You're going to want to have class notes, reading notes, whatever you think is going to help you find these answers. That's what you should be using. All right, here we go. All right, so short-term changes is weather, and a place an organism lives is a habitat. Okay, the reason why day lengths are different at different places on Earth throughout the year is because the blank rays come in at different angles. What types of rays are we talking about? Any relationship between two organisms that live closely with one another is called what? That was a warm-up question. When two different organisms try to get a resource at the same time, it creates what? So 3 questions. If you think you know the answer to 2 of them, put your hand up. And just a word to the wise for the test. Okay, for the test, don't forget your warm-ups. A lot of times as we get closer to a test, I use test questions as warm-up questions. I'm not saying that all your warm-up questions are going to be on the test, but there are at least a few. Okay, so have access to your warm-up questions. And if you've got them in a Google Doc, what I would do is I would have, I would be taking the test on a laptop, and then maybe on an iPad or another laptop, I would have your Google Drive open. Or you could just have it open in a different tab so you can quickly access your electronic notes. Okay, what goes in the first blank, Allah?
Solar.
Yeah, solar rays, sun's rays, good. What's the second one, a definition of, Samarin?
Symbiosis.
You got it. Let's see. And what do we call that when two organisms want the same thing at the same time? Anybody else want to try that one? Just unmute yourself if you do. Otherwise, I'll let one of the others put their hand up. All right, go for it. Samarin, what's the third one?
Competition.
You got it. All right. All right, so it's the sun's rays, solar rays, symbiosis, any close relationship. Common misperception about symbiosis is that it's always a good situation. Remember, parasitism, okay, with parasites, that's when one organism benefits and one of them actually is harmed. So it's not where they both benefit. That's mutualism. When one organism benefits and the other one isn't harmed or helped, that's called commensalism. And then parasitism, one organism benefits and then the other one is harmed. So at least one organism benefits in all 3 cases, but not both organisms. Here we go. CO2, carbon monoxide, CH4, which is methane, ozone, and water vapor are known as what category of gases? Bouncing off the atmosphere, getting absorbed by greenhouse gases, or bouncing off the Earth's surface are all things that can happen to what? What are the 3 types of symbiosis? I just mentioned all 3. And blank factors are the physical factors that shape ecosystems. So there's some chapter 3 stuff in this question too. So we got 4 questions up there. If you think you know the answers to at least 3 of them, put your hand up. Yeah, I'm going to switch it up a little bit. Let's see, Isaac, what do we call those gases? What category of gases are those things? Are you there, Isaac? All right. Mateo, do you know what those gases are called? What category they are?
Are those greenhouse gases?
Those are greenhouse gases. Cool. All right, let's see. What bounces off the atmosphere, gets absorbed by greenhouse gases, or bounces off the Earth's surface? Allah, do you want to do that one? You got it. Solar radiation, incoming radiation. I got you, Isaac. No big deal. All right, let's see. What are the three types of symbiosis? So I'm going to describe it, and you tell me which one it is. Let's see. One organism is helped, and the other one isn't harmed or helped. Which one is that, Samarin?
Commensalism.
Good. Both organisms benefit. Which one's that, Allah? Mutualism. And one organism benefits, and the other one is harmed. Do you know which one that is, Lucas?
Parasitism.
You got it. Parasites. Good. All right. Let's see. And what are the types of factors, physical factors that shape ecosystems, Samarin?
Abiotic.
You got it. Wind, water, sun, dirt, rock, temperature. Those are all abiotic factors. Greenhouse gases, incoming solar radiation, parasitism, commensalism, mutualism, and abiotic. All right. Last column. All right, blank is valuable to the biosphere because it is the biological life support system of Earth. I can't even remember which one this is. I think I know what it is. Oh, yeah, I remember what it is. Think section 6.3 in the book. What do you think, Ala?
Biodiversity.
You got it. Yeah, so biodiversity is the biological life support system. The more biodiversity we have, the healthier ecosystems are, the healthier ecosystem services are. It all starts with having the right types and amount of organisms on the planet. Okay, true or false? Introduction of foreign species into habitats is a goal of conservation biology. Solar, wind, geothermal, hydroelectric, and tidal energy are all types of what energy? Okay, about 10 seconds, then I'll let people answer. I want to give people an opportunity to look these up if they don't know what they are. All right, let's see. True or false, Mateo? What do you think?
Is it false?
It is false. That's a trick question. A removal of foreign species is a goal of conservation biology, but introduction of invasive species is a bad thing. All right, let's see. Lucas, what do you think the second one? What types of energy are those?
Renewable.
Yes, they are renewable. And of course, fossil fuels, methane, oil, coal, those are non-renewable. Good. All right, the fact that humans have already passed Earth's carrying capacity, humans are in an exponential growth curve, and the fact that no species has ever survived a J-shaped growth curve all describe what? True or false? Electing legislators who view the environment and its resources as there for us to use is a method of reducing overharvesting of a species. Fossil fuels are a type of blank resource. And I know some of these questions are a little vague. If you think you know 2 out of 3, raise your hand. All right, about 20 more seconds. All right, Mateo, which one do you want to answer? Never mind. Does anybody want to answer any of these? Come on, the last one's easy. All right, fine. All right, here we go. So all those things express the fact that humans are in an exponential growth curve. Okay. Exponential is shaped like a J. All right. Also, typically organisms that are past their carrying capacity are in an exponential growth curve. And lastly, no species in the history of this planet has ever survived or prevented a crash if they're in an exponential growth. So logic would say that humans will probably be able to keep it up a little bit longer, but eventually humans are probably going to have a crash, and it's probably going to be related to starvation, famine, and it's probably going to be related to disease. Okay. False. Electing legislators who view the environment and its resources there for us to use, that is not reducing overharvesting. Electing legislators that think that sustainable harvesting is good. That's what we need. People who feel, this is a term that hopefully if you guys take my AP environmental science class in a couple of years, but people who view the environment and the living creatures in the environment as there for humans to use, those are called utilitarians, that they utilize those resources. I am not a utilitarian. Okay, I think that we do need things out of nature, but we don't need them so much that we harm the species. Okay, and then of course, fossil fuels are a type of non-renewable resource. All right, last questions. Now I can't actually click on that, so here's how I'm going to have to do this. I'll figure it out. Okay. List 3 ways photosynthesis and cell respiration are alike. List 3 ways how to reduce deforestation. So these are both in your Earth Life the good class notes, the ones that we took yesterday. All right, Mateo, tell me 3 ways that photosynthesis and cell respiration are similar.
Can I answer the second one?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, deforestation, we can reduce paper consumption, we can stop clear cutting, and we can eat less meat.
Nice. Okay. Does anybody know some ways that photosynthesis and cell respiration are similar? I'll give you a clue. They both involve blank. There's a couple different ways you can answer that. Samarin, go ahead.
They're responsible for the energy needed for life on Earth.
You got it. So photosynthesis produces glucose, the chemical energy, which is the base of all food chains. And cell respiration liberates or allows ATP, which is the energy necessary for cells. So they both involve life energy. What about the products and the reactants? Remember, the products of photosynthesis are the same as the reactants for cell respiration. The products for cell respiration are the same as the reactants for cell respiration, glucose and oxygen, are same as the products for photosynthesis. All right, here we go. I'm going to shut this. Photosynthesis products are cell respiration's reactants, both involved with energy for life, and producers use both reactions to live. So remember, plants also have to burn glucose in the presence of oxygen to get ATP for their cells too. Okay? Sustainable harvest of trees, reduce paper consumption, eat less beef, no clear cutting, more legislation. All of those are ways to help produce or to help maintain our forests. All right, ladies and gentlemen, one last time to raise your hand. Raise your hand if you feel pretty confident about this test coming up on Friday. You should. Many of you guys knew the answers to many of these questions. Remember, you still got 48 hours, 2 days before the test. Well, period 4, you're taking yours in the morning. You get to use your resources. Okay, so organize your resources. What I would do is on your study guide, I would go through and I would highlight all of the numbers that you think that you're weak on. Okay, that you don't think you could remember that if you were asked it right away. Okay, and then maybe make some flashcards for just those ones. So you've got in one pile, these are all the things that I think I might need to look up just as a way to get to that information a little bit quicker. I just saw a chat. Let me check and see what it is real quick. All right. Yeah, 37. How many total did we have? We had 1, 3, 6, 10, 20, 30, 40. Yeah, so 50. Yeah, absolutely. And remember, these questions, so that's 37 out of 50, basically. These questions are harder. On a multiple choice question, you will see the correct answer. These questions did not show you the correct answer. All right, you guys, I have a meeting with one of my AP kids at noon. Thank you very much for spending some of your free time to help get ready. You will definitely demonstrate that ability on Friday. All right, take it easy. If you guys have any questions for me, just send me an email.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
That's what I